Hello everyone, my name is Miss Casey and welcome back to FIBO Kids Art Academy. Today we're going to be doing a very fun exercise and it is inspired by the famous artist, which you probably all know, Pablo Picasso. Alright, it's going to be a lot of fun. I have a sample here for you guys to see. We're going to be doing a continuous line drawing. Now, if you have no idea what that is yet, that is okay. That's why we're going to learn about it. We're also going to be learning some fun things about Pablo Picasso and getting to look at his artwork. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and actually share with you some of his artwork here. Let me pull that up. And I'm also going to be talking just a little bit about our friend Pablo Picasso. Okay, so Pablo Picasso was one of the most famous abstract artists of the 20th century. The 20th century is any year within the 1900s. Okay, so all throughout that century, he was very famous, he was very talked about, and he created so much art. Okay, now he knew how to draw at a very young age. He learned how to draw very realistically and paint very realistically. But once he learned all of the art rules and he knew how to do everything very realistic, he was more drawn to taking that realism and breaking down those objects and subjects into their most simplest forms using lines and drawings. And that's how he got started and created the art movement called Cubism, which most of you may know him most for, Cubism. Okay, so with Pablo Picasso doing all of that, he would usually try and experiment with a whole bunch of different art techniques and exercises just to kind of get his creative juices flowing and to kind of figure out what his next painting or drawing would be. And so a way that he would do this, one of the exercises that he would work with is called a continuous line drawing. Okay, so a continuous line drawing, if you don't know, it is basically one single line used to create a whole drawing without picking up your pen or your pencil or whatever drawing tool you're using. You're just starting at one point, drawing the object or subject that you're drawing, and keep going with your pen on your paper until you finish up that drawing. And that's what he did. So I'm going to show you a few of those examples here. On our screen, though, we do see Pablo Picasso in his later years. Here we see him drawing a bull, again, in a very abstract form. And now this is one of his continuous line drawings. Now, can anyone guess what kind of animal this might be? Well, if you guessed horse, you are correct. So this is a horse, but obviously it doesn't look like a realistic horse. It is used with a continuous line. So you can see the start point is at the top of his nose, at the top of his head, and the end point ends just below his head. But there's so many lines in between the start and end point, and it creates this detail that makes you realize what it is. It is a horse. So it's really interesting how just one line can create all of this detail and make you realize and notice the subject that it's meant to be. So here we have a penguin. It's a little bit more simpler, but you can see the start and end point as well. And you can really see how Picasso took that one line and turned it into a penguin. It's awesome to see that and to be able to get that recognizable form just from one line. So it's really awesome. We're going to be doing that today as well. Here we see another simple line, and it's creating a dog. Some of you may have noticed this in our sample that I showed you on my desk. Today we are going to be drawing a dog inspired by Pablo Picasso, like you see here. Again, just a very simple line. You may not be able to see the start point because it's connected into all the rest of the lines, but you do see the end point, or maybe that was a start point. You never know with these drawings, but you do see how it is continuous line drawing, and it's super fun. It may be a little tricky at first, but it just takes practice and practice, and once we get through our exercise, I do recommend you guys to keep practicing and continue on with what you're doing. It's, again, a lot of fun. All right, so I'm going to go back to my desk. Okay, and now that we are back to the desk, again, you can see the sample. We are going to get started. So Pablo Picasso worked with continuous line. Try to do it a little fancy here with a continuous line myself. So Pablo Picasso, continuous line. That's what we're working on today, okay? So for our project, what we're going to do first is we are going to start by drawing the subject or the object that we're going to work with today. I'm going to do a dog. You can do an animal as well. Animals I find are a little bit easier to kind of think about and draw just off the top of our head, and then turning that into a continuous line drawing. The reason why we want to draw the object that we are drawing in our continuous line, we want to draw that with shapes and lines just so that we can use that as reference to draw our continuous line. Because if you're just starting out with this and you haven't done this exercise before or in the past, it may be a little hard to think about, okay, where should I place this line? Where does this line go? How do I make this detail with the line? So it would be a lot easier to have kind of that reference in front of you, and just keeping it very simple, again, really helps you realize where those simple lines should go. All right, so I'm going to set this to the side, and then we're going to get started. So for today's project, you are going to need a piece of paper, just a regular paper. It doesn't have to be a specific kind of paper. It can be sketchbook paper, copy paper, anything that you have ready and on you. You don't really need a pencil or a Sharpie with you today. I'm just going to be working straight into markers. I'm going to be using 2 different colors so that way we can see our basic shape object or animal that we're going to draw, the dog, and then I'm going to change my color to do the continuous line just so I can see the difference. Okay, so if you want to start with a pencil, that's up to you, but I'm going to go ahead and leave my pencil to the side, and I'm going to start with a marker. So you don't have to work with markers today. You can use any materials you have, just as long as you're working in 2 colors. Again, I recommend 2 colors just because we want to see the difference between the 2 drawings that we're going to do today. So I'm going to start my shapes with my blue marker. And first we're going to draw the head of our dog. So for the head, I'm just going to draw a circle, just a simple circle. And then I'm going to draw the nose. And for the nose, I'm just going to kind of extend this circle out with like a half of an oval. And then I'm going to draw another oval right on top for the nose there. Okay, once I have the head, I'm going to draw an ear, and I'm going to start inside and kind of make this like teardrop shape here. Okay, so it has like a dangly ear, a very big floppy ear. Now I'm going to draw an oval for the body. Okay, and I'm just going to attach that to the back of the head. All right, now that I have the head and the body, I'm going to draw the tail just up here, kind of curve it up a bit. And then I'm going to draw the legs. And I'm only going to draw 2 legs. This is a side view of a dog, so we only see 2 legs usually. I'm also going to only add 1 eye as well. I'm not going to work on the details just yet. So for the legs, I'm going to draw a line that comes down, curve it over, and bring it right back up to the bottom of the body. Then I'm going to do the same thing. Bring it down, curve it over for the front of the foot, and bring it up to the bottom of the body. Okay, so now that I have my basic shape for my dog, I'm going to add my little detail, my eye. All right, if you're drawing a different kind of dog, you can go ahead and add any other details that you need in your drawing as well. But then once you have it, again, keep it very simple, use just basic shapes. You don't have to worry about erasing or anything like that. We're just kind of getting the idea of what our dog looks like for now to use as reference. So once you have the basic shapes of your dog, you can go ahead and put that color away. Next, I'm going to choose a different color. I'm going to use orange for Fibo colors. And now I'm going to start in my continuous line. So again, even if you're following along with me, this may be very tricky for you. So don't worry. Be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and again, Think about this as exercise, just practice. Do you know how many times it probably took Pablo Picasso to do many of these? He probably went through so many just to get one good continuous line drawing. But that's why he did it. Again, it made his creative juices go and flow, but it also helped him to make his final pieces of art as well as he did. He would practice and practice and practice, do exercise after exercise, and finally he would get to his final pieces of art and he would just work on it like no problem because he practiced so much before. So that's what we want to get you guys to do, is practice, practice, practice. That way when you get to a final draw, you're ready to go. So now let's work on our continuous line. Remember, a continuous line is one line using your drawing tool, not picking it up. So you're starting at a start point, continuing that start point until you are done with your drawing. So let's see, I'm going to take a look at my first drawing. I'm going to think about where can I connect my lines so that way I don't have to pick up my pencil. I'm kind of tracing over using my finger just to kind of get an idea in my head of how I can recreate that using one line. All right, I think I have an idea here. I think I'm going to start on my bottom of my head here. Then I'm going to bring it over. Sometimes we won't be able to get the specific shapes that we have here. I think I'm just going to go all the way across, bring it up, draw the ear here, and then I think I'm going to loop this ear into the body so that way I can get that curve. Then I'm going to bring it up and down for those legs. Draw a letter U for the bottom and bring that leg up and connect it to the front of the body again. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. If you couldn't follow along with me tracing it, that's okay. You can go ahead and follow along with me as I do it. All right, so I'm going to start at the bottom of the head again. Remember, try not to pick up your pencil. It is a hard habit to break, so if you accidentally pick your pencil up, that is okay. I just recommend that you do it again. You keep going, you try hard. You may pick up your pencil and forget, but that's okay. Just move over to a new piece of your paper and try it again. Do not cheat. Don't pick up your pencil and then continue that line because that's not a true continuous line drawing. So just skip that, move over, and continue your drawing again on a new area of your paper. If you don't have any more areas in your paper because you drew so big like I did, just take a new piece of paper. Like I said, just practice, keep going, continue, do it as much as possible until you get really comfortable and you get a good feel for it, okay? Now that I did my whole continuous line, I don't really have any details. Now you can add your details if you want to be super, super advanced. You can add your details and try your best to do it with one continuous line drawing. But I'm just going to go in, now that I've made my shape and my figure using that continuous line, I'm just going to go ahead and add my details on top of that. Because I know that I did that in continuous line drawing, and I'm happy with that. So now I'm just going to add in the eye and the nose. Okay, now I've got my continuous line dog. So that was really fun. I hope you guys liked that. But now, you guys can go ahead and draw any other animal, any other object that you want, break it down into a simplest form, and then make a continuous line drawing of it. I'm going to show you this one more time using a different kind of animal. You guys can choose to follow along with me again, just for extra practice, or you can just, again, try it with any other object, any other animal or subject that you want, and practice super hard to get a continuous line drawing out of it, okay? So you can pause this video so that way you can try it on your own and then follow along with me with our next example, or you can go ahead and just follow along with me in our next example right away and then try it again on your own afterwards. All right, so let me put this to the side. I'm gonna get a new piece of paper, and then I'm gonna get my first color again. This time, I'm going to practice with a butterfly. Now, I'm practicing with a butterfly because butterflies are simple. I know how to draw it really, really well, just off the top of my head. Not a super fancy butterfly. Again, I'm keeping it very simple, just a basic butterfly. and I think I'd be able to make a continuous line drawing with that in my first try. Okay, so let's go ahead and try that. Let's see if you can do it as well. So a butterfly, again, you can draw the butterfly just like me, or you can draw a butterfly the way that you like to draw a butterfly. Or if you're not following along with this example, you can draw any other subject or object that you want. Okay, so for a butterfly, I'm going to draw the body. I'm going to draw the wings. And some antenna. All right, so now that I have a butterfly, next I'm going to draw that continuous line using a different color, like orange. All right, so I'm going to take a second to think about where can I start my line and where can I end my line. Let me trace this out as I'm going for it. All right, I think I've got an idea. As I do it, you can follow along with me, or you can maybe find your own path and do your start and end point using this butterfly example. Okay, so I'm going to start with the top of the body, and I'm going to kind of loop it around, and then make this loop connect to the wing here, and then make this loop come over to this wing here. I'm going to bring it up, down, and back up for the antenna there. Okay, so it may not look like a perfect butterfly. Again, it's not meant to look perfect. It's not meant to look real. It's just meant to get a very creative exercise down. You're just practicing how to make an object using one line, and I did not pick up my pencil or my marker at all. Okay, again, maybe you have a different idea of how you can draw your butterfly. So that I made a few more extra lines and maybe did a little differently. They both still look like butterflies. So however you do your continuous line drawing, you just want to get the basic structure, the basic shape down for your object, and it doesn't have to look realistic. You just have to recognize that it is what it is. And I think I did a good job at that. I hope you guys did as well. And I hope you also had a lot of fun with this project and this exercise. Because again, Pablo Picasso didn't do this to make famous final pieces of artwork. He just used it as a creative way, a creative exercise to help him with his final pieces of art. Okay, so again, the artist that we were inspired by is Pablo Picasso, and we were inspired by his continuous line drawings. A continuous line is a drawing that goes from one line without picking up your drawing tool to complete a final drawing. Okay, you have a start and an end point. So good job, you guys. I'm sure yours came out really well. If you'd like to share your exercises with us, make sure to share to our Facebook group at FIBO Village. And thank you guys again. Let me go ahead and switch my view so you can see both me and my desk. Thank you guys again. My name is Miss Casey. Stay tuned for more videos as we go through many different art exercises and fundamentals, vocabulary, art history, you name it, we've got it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications for more of our videos. Thank you again for joining. Have a great day.